So let's dive into this one. It's a well-known game on the Game Gear, I guess. I didn't know it was on the Game Gear before it got picked for me. I mean, I guess I knew it because I owned it, but I wasn't thinking about it. But it's called Journey from Darkness, Strider Returns. And this is Strider 2. There we go. So this is like the sequel to the unbelievably awesome Strider arcade game. And, you know, it's also on the Genesis. I actually think it's better on the Genesis than it is in the arcade. And Strider 2 is considered, like, pretty much by everyone, or almost everyone, to just be a huge disappointment. It's completely inferior to the first game in, like, almost every way. And it was ported to 9 systems. I can't believe that. 9 systems? Like the Amiga and, like, the ZX Spectrum, just everything out there, including the Game Gear, which you're seeing here. And the Game Gear is probably the worst, despite the fact that it's almost identical to the Master System version. So, what's the story? Strider, whatever his name is, I don't know if this is Strider or some other ninja, but he's summoned to the planet Magenta to rescue Princess Lexia, and, you know, you fight aliens and cyborgs and eagles and just your average everyday ninja stuff. Just the stuff that ninjas used to run to back in the old days, you know, the aliens and the birds. But it's just a side-scrolling action platformer, and this game, I mean, it looks fine, and the premise is whatever, but it is super clunky, yet slippery controls, and I feel like they put the most intentionally annoying enemy placement and an unavoidable damage from everywhere just to, like, make the player upset. Just like, this game was designed to frustrate you. And there's tons of, like, random leaps of faith where you have to just, like, jump off some rope, you know, 60 feet and hope you land on a platform that you don't know is there. It's really irritating. And it has that really annoying, like, infuriating knockback. But you also don't have very many iframes. So, like, enemies will stun lock you. You'll just get, like, knocked back and knocked here and knocked there and knocked there, and it's like ragdoll physics. And it's just bad design all around. You know, it looks decent for a Game Gear game, and everything's fairly colorful, I guess, and the levels are, like, distinctive. The music is absolutely horrible. And it's not memorable at all, and it is, like, grating on the ears. Like, it sounds really bad. But like I said, I mean, the game, it relies on its controls, and any good platformer relies on its controls. But I've never really seen any that behave quite like this. At times it feels like it's locked to an invisible grid system. So, like, you'll jump, let's say you're jumping from one platform to another, and Strider jumps over, and then, like, as he's falling, the game, without touching the controls, will, like, auto-correct you and notch you back or forward a few pixels to snap you to the grid. And sometimes that causes you to, like, overshoot or undershoot what you're trying to land on. Also, when Strider's walking, he, like, goes at a normal pace, but when he jumps up and starts, like, monkey barring across the ceiling, he goes into hyperspeed and he, like, runs off the end, and it's maddening. I hate it. The opening area of the game took me like 10 minutes to get through it because, like, you're just jumping from branch to branch. I couldn't even get it to work. So this game's bad, guys. I didn't finish it. It is painfully miserable to play, and I wanted to pull my hair out and throw the Game Gear across the room. And having to play it again on an emulator to capture this gameplay footage for you guys, because I don't have any way to, like, record my Game Gear other than pointing the camera at the screen. Playing this again on the emulator was like torture. I was so unhappy with it. I really did not like it. Of course I didn't beat it, like I said. I made it, I think there are 5 stages, and I barely made it to the beginning of stage 4 on my Game Gear. I couldn't even get remotely that close on the emulator. It's harder to play on the emulator. And, you know, that was enough for me. So is Journey from Darkness, Strider Returns on the Game Gear something you want to play? Absolutely not. I think this is the lowest reviewed game I've ever done on this channel, and it is rare for a game to get a score of this, but this is a 2 out of 10. This is painfully miserable. It, like, games in my mind that I hate. I'm like, these are some of the worst games of all time. This is like usurped them. Like this is jumped ahead of them in terribleness. This is an awful, awful, awful game. And no one should ever play this on the Game Gear at all. 2 out of 10. Miserable.